From Learfield, this is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union of Ohio on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with Coach Jake Diebler and former Ohio State captain Ron Stokes, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Filling in for the Hall of Fame voice of the Buckeyes on this edition of the Jake Diebler Show, I am Timmy Hall, but pleased to be joined with Ron Stokes and head basketball coach Jake Diebler. Jake, I know it's been a difficult stretch for the team. You've got 3 games here, a combined points stretch of 5 points, lost 3 games by 5 points coming off the Indiana game, 77-76, in overtime. How do you like where your team is at right now, Jake, as you continue to go on through what's going to be a tough Big Ten schedule here?
Yeah, every game in this league is tough. We talked about it before the year, and that's why we, scheduled the way we did in the non-conference, was to get ready, for those tough moments. I think we've done some really good things. We've positioned ourselves to win, majority of these Big Ten games and really have a different Big Ten record. But we just, we've been one possession short here now 3 games in a row. And, there's a lot that goes into that. Certainly, you look at the totality of the game, not just focused on the, the very end. But, I think we've really grown in some areas. But we have to find a way to be, a little bit more consistent, and that will provide us with 2 to 4 better possessions a game. Which, if we had done that, these last 3 games be different results.
When you look at your roster, coach, and clearly there's talent on it, but there's still you can't rush the process. A freshman is going to make freshman mistakes regardless of how talented they are. And you got some young guys that are being asked to do veteran things, play long minutes at a certain level, which takes time. I look at John Moblin Jr. as one. And then the other thing that some folks will discount is even a guy like Sean Stewart, who's a sophomore, but he didn't play a lot of minutes as a freshman. So he's still learning how to get to that level. So as a coach, and here you are in January trying to win close games in a very competitive conference, what are all the challenges of trying to get these guys to kind of speed up that process so that some of these close games can equate to wins?
Yeah, well, I think, we've certainly got some youth and inexperience on our team, and we got younger, when Michi stepped away, and that put even some more opportunity for some of our young guys. But I think, listen, I just don't see inexperience in youth as being an excuse. I think it certainly provides, there's great growth opportunity for these young guys right now. But we do need to, and we are certainly capable of being these couple possessions better. And I think that's probably the frustrating thing is I've been really proud of the way we've practiced. I think we practice with a great deal of urgency and toughness and competitiveness. And that's why we're seeing this growth that we've been seeing. But I think you do it through film, you do it through individual conversations, you do it through workouts, small group workouts, individual workouts, practice time. We're attacking this from kind of all angles, Ron, to get these couple possessions better. And, I feel really confident because our guys have stayed locked in and working to grow that we're going to break through here soon.
Jake, you talk about, and Ron, you asked the question about younger players and how they take time to grow and develop here. But you have been entrusting John Moblin. He had such a great game against Wisconsin, and you draw the play up for him to hit that dagger 3 to send the game into overtime, and he gets another chance in the overtime as well. What gives you that confidence in him? I mean, clearly we can see the way he shoots the basketball, but to trust him in a late game situation like that and then to see him connect with it.
Well, I think I love his mentality, and listen, it hasn't been I think he's wavered a little bit at times just in as far as being kind of having that assassin mentality as a scorer. Mm-hmm. And I've just, even last game against Indiana, there were times early in the game where I was like, hey, man, do not hesitate. Do not flinch. Now, he's got to continue to grow in his decision-making in the moment.
Yeah.
And I think the experience he's getting I told him, it's like you're gonna make a lot of big plays in a Buckeye jersey over your career that's going to result in a lot of wins, but you got to stick with it, and you can't lose that mentality. So, and he didn't, and you saw him come up big really in the second half of the Indiana game, hit a huge shot coming out of a timeout, great execution, and then really we got him. We tried to get him on the move to get a catch and shoot opportunity there at the very end. They did a good job defending it, but then he was able to get an angle to the paint, just, got a little out of control there, and credit them. They made a good defensive play. But I got a great deal of confidence in him because I think he like, the moment's not too big. He believes in himself. He wants to win for Ohio State, and, he's got the talent and the skill. So you kind of take all of that, a combination of all those things. That's why I got a great deal of confidence in him.
We talked about this after the game, how frustrating it could be because – how close you are, because to Tim's point, you draw up a play for a freshman, it's well executed. It was a great set. He came off the screen open and feet set, knocked it down, but then 2 plays later, whether it's a freshman or sophomore making a mental mistake, don't get a block out maybe on a free throw line situation, or you don't run the set for offense or even defense, you miss out. But I guess, does that help you, Coach, when you're able to show so many positive things when you're trying to teach them to be better the next game?
Yeah, we've really, these last few games, Ron, we've watched certainly the end of game because there's so much learning to do. But we've also watched segments earlier in the game where I feel like we're putting ourselves in these situations, late games, where maybe if we are better in this segment earlier in the game, particularly, the first half of the second half, if we're better in that segment, we're not in this situation at the end of the game. So I like watching. We'll certainly watch clips and edits at times, but I also like watching the flow of the game. So you can see the offense, defense. You can feel the momentum of the game shifting. You get to see the flow. And so we've done a lot of that, really, both some individual edits and clips and specifics, targeting shot selection and turnovers right now for us offensively, and then rebounding defensively has hurt us, specifically late these last couple games. So those are all, we're attacking this from all different angles. But I think, there's a lot of, there's been a lot of positives. Certainly it hasn't all been bad. Just the results, these last 3 games have not been what we wanted.
Basketball fans, we are just getting started with head coach Jake Diebler here on this edition of the show. They will be back to business tomorrow night at Mackey Arena, taking on the Purdue Boilermakers at 7:30. If you guys have a question for Coach Diebler, you can submit it to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at ohiostatebuckeyes.com. Click on Coach's Show inbox. Union Home Mortgage. Learn about their 1% down payment program at uhm.com, NMLS number 2229. More of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Cheers to a great day and this ice-cold Corona.
You know what would make this day even better? My grandma's carne asada.
Or your grandma here with us, making carne asada.
She does love a cold Corona.
Throw in some dancing.
We can watch the game.
I'll drink to that.
So a backyard concert with football, food, dancing, and Corona?
And your grandma.
Or we could keep it simple.
Simple is good. Want a Corona?
Thanks. Salud to the perfect day.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Import, Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Hey basketball fans, Credit Union of Ohio wants to help you score more by making life more affordable. It's time to play with a team that helps you win every day. Credit Union of Ohio's loan rates have dropped to provide affordable financing for the things you want and need. It's time to reevaluate your current loans and consider refinancing with a team that cares about you. Check out current specials and get started scoring more money at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to the Jake Diebler Show. I'm Timmy Hall, in for the Hall of Famer Paul Keels. I'm lucky to be sitting next to the former captain Ron Stokes, who does a great job calling Buckeye hoops every single game. And the head coach, Jake Diebler, of course, is with us. Time for today's Elk and Elk injury report. Ron, we were missing Devin Royal for that game, something to keep in mind as close as it was against Indiana. But with the wrist injury, we learned that it happened against Michigan State. How are things looking with Devin? Big game coming up tomorrow night at Purdue.
Yeah, Devin's day to day. You know, we didn't know he wasn't going to be able to play in the Indiana game until before shoot around on game day. So that, you know, it's kind of a day to day thing, and he's working hard to get it as healthy and back to normal as possible. But right now we're taking it one day at a time.
You know, that kind of goes in one of the questions from Dave and Napoleon. He said that as a competitor, players embrace the challenges with one of the starters is out due to injury. So didn't find out till late, and then now you have to tell someone they're going to be a starter now. So how does that work in terms of that guy understanding what's needed, Coach?
Yeah, well, I think anytime, what we talk about, anytime you have someone out, it's oftentimes not necessarily one guy who needs to step up, but the collective kind of group needs to step up. And for us, Devin's been such a big part of how we've played, and we've certainly gone to him for significant stretches that we had to really shift, and thankfully we found out before shoot around. Certainly would like even more time, but it caused us to shift, I think, some things with our offensive attack, and also shift some things from lineup standpoint. But we got guys who are again, going into the season, I felt like depth was going to be a real strength for us. We haven't, unfortunately, been able to utilize that kind of in the way we had hoped going into the season, but I think you got to give our guys a lot of credit. They've adjusted multiple times really throughout the year to having guys out of the lineup, and the last game was certainly an example of that. I thought we had some guys really step up.
That one came from the Union Home Mortgage inbox. And Coach, another one of the roster issues has been the absence of Michi Johnson. Are you in contact with Michi, and what does it look like if there's going to be a possible return for him?
Yeah, Michi and I are in contact regularly, and right now we're just supporting him the best we can as he kind of works through these personal things. And right now, as of today, we don't have a timetable or clear indication of kind of what's next. It's just really been a day-to-day thing, but he and I have been in continued communication.
Coach, when you talk about guys who've been in and out of the lineup, and one in particular is Aaron Bradshaw, just so excited on how he played against Kentucky, and it just seems since that game I should say in recent games, like things have kind of gone backwards. Can you just talk about what has happened to his transition back into the rotation?
Well, I think, for Aaron, the time he missed, and being away from the team was significant because you're looking at a player who didn't get much experience last year. And then to break up the rhythm of the season like it was, certainly, played great against Kentucky, probably the best, maybe the best game of his college career, at that point. I think for us, there's a consistency we're looking for from him. He plays, when he's really playing well, he's playing with great energy and toughness. He's protecting the rim. He's, finishing around the rim. And I think he's got to just really stand firm on those things and do those things consistently. And if he does that, his offense will come from, grow from there, and his defensive impact will continue to grow. But, I think he's just got to keep fighting to be consistent. And, that's kind of what we've been looking for really in our front court is who can be the most consistent. I think we've seen Sean really grow and emerge. Devin's certainly done some good things, for us as well. I think we're seeing Yvonne, kind of right before our eyes, really grow and be impactful. But, Aaron's a guy for us that, we're hoping can really kind of turn the corner and be consistent in those areas.
That report was brought to you by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. You hit on a number of key players for your team there, and especially in the front court. How do you go into a season as coaches when you know where the strength of your basketball team? Almost anyone that would look at your roster would say, Bruce Thornton coming back, one of the best players in the Big Ten, John Mobley, a star freshman that can really score it. But when you know that you're not maybe going to plan on getting a lot of points from a certain unit, how do you try to coach that part of it, or do you try to play to what their strengths are and get the best that you can?
Yeah, it's I think there's a fine line. You got to give guys an opportunity to play to their strengths, and you're certainly trying to create that within what's best for the team, right? Because that can be a little complicated at times, that maybe what fits, one guy's strength at the moment might not be best all the time for the entirety of the team. So there's a balance there. But I think we're seeing like Sean and some guys really grow. I think Devin's been a guy who's taken a significant jump this year. And the biggest thing for us, I think, right now is we're not shooting the ball from the three-point line in conference play at the level we're capable of. And then you couple that with us turning the ball over like we are in conference play. And that's where, the struggles we're having offensively. We certainly need to be able to score around the basket, and our front court can do that. And we got to continue to fight to provide some more opportunity for them. But, I think teams are shrinking the floor on us more and more because of those two issues, and that's kind of making life for everybody hard. So we're fighting for spacing. We got to be more disciplined with our spacing. Our offense is built around ball movement and body movement, and at times we're getting a little stagnant. So, I think that has something to do with kind of our forwards. Our athleticism in the front court, I think, is a real strength for us. That's why we're moving them around so much. It's why we're trying to create space that way by our movement instead of just having a guy, kind of standing there on the block, because that's not quite what our strength is with some of these guys.
Now, Coach, you guys track everything. So, I've asked this question, like, what's the ideal Jake Diebler team? How much do you want to run versus half court? But are you seeing these turnovers coming more so in transition, or is it half court, or what? And then I guess the second part of that, are you guys running to the level that you want to run? So that's two-part questions.
Yeah. Well, I think our pace is it fits us right now, Ron. I'd like to, I'm kind of wired to play a little bit faster. I'd like to be able to build, this program to do that. But I think, right now with some of just kind of the way our roster's been, shifted and kind of changed throughout the course, like we've settled into a decent pace. I think some of our turnovers are, and I think our pace fits our personnel right now. I'd like to be able to play faster. I think that we need to create more pace with our defense if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It does.
And then I'm a value when I say pace too. I think you certainly look at the number of possessions in a game, but I'm also looking at our pace in the half court. So when we don't have that initial push, what does our pace in the half court look like? And that's where we got to move more. We got to cut harder. We got and we're growing because it's a new system, for everybody. But that I think is part of it. And then our turnovers, some are coming early in the clock, but a lot of them it's really interesting. I think we're leading the conference in non-steal turnover percentage. So we're not getting the ball. So some of it's been some footwork errors with travels or slipping and some passing errors where the ball gets thrown out of bounds. We're not having a lot of live ball turnovers where teams are going
right
and taking advantage of it. So it's some of it's decision making. It really boils, and I want us to make quicker decisions. That's what we've talked about these last week and a half. Is we got to make quicker decisions. We can't let the defense reset within the same possession. Once we got them on the move, we got to keep them on the move, and to do that by making quick decisions. But that's what we're growing through right now.
Life in the Big Ten does provide a lot of opportunities to get some big wins, and there's another one coming up tomorrow when the Buckeyes are at Purdue. We'll talk about it. I'm Timmy Hall, in for the legendary Hall of Fame voice Paul Keels, as our show presented by Roosters continues on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway, and you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at SafeLight.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
Get ready, Buckeye fans. Donato's just added something special to the pizza playbook. Introducing Donato's new Block O pizza. Donato's golden thin crust cut in that trademark Block O shape, loaded with crispy pepperoni, smoked provolone cheese, and Buckeye Spirit. It's the perfect pizza for game day or any day in Buckeye country. Now get a Block O pizza for just $10 with any pizza purchase. Order today with the Donato's app or at donatos.com.
Every game, every season, Buckeye Nation comes together to support Ohio State basketball. The Buckeyes make their fans proud by giving it their all on the court. Their hard work, determination, and resilience embody what our state is all about. Every client, every day, Elk & Elk works tirelessly to support the great people of Ohio. A consistent winner in the courtroom, we get injury victims the compensation they deserve. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Giant Eagle is teaming up with Cheez-It, Pringles, and Coca-Cola to give one lucky Buckeye fan a VIP basketball experience. Go to ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Giant Eagle to enter for a chance to win 4 tickets with parking to the March 4th home finale against Nebraska, a Buckeye prize pack, a $200 Giant Eagle gift card, and a trip to the head coach's radio show. Enter today at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Giant Eagle for a chance to win. Brought to you by Giant Eagle, Cheez-It, Pringles, and Coca-Cola. Go Bucks!
Your home for Ohio State Athletics, The Fan. Now back to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Jake Diebler Show rolls on here today on Martin Luther King Day. Ron, I know you already went to an event today, and you're dressed very, very nice today. You're looking very sharp, my man.
Yeah, normally I don't wear a tie, but it was for a great cause. I've been to the MLK breakfast a number of times, so I went this morning. It starts your day early. I got downtown around 6:30, 6:45 this morning, but it was incredible. Great speakers, especially these young people. I mean, I'm so excited about our future because I heard from some young folks that are just flat out dynamic, so it was very inspiring.
I would also imagine that there's some things you could take out from a guy like Martin Luther King Jr., incorporate that into some coaching. Are you having some plans to do something like this today, Jake?
We are today. We're going to actually take a look at one of Dr. King's sermons, the 3 dimensions of a complete life. Going back and doing some research, and this is the first time I've really kind of dove deep into that speech, and it just it's so impactful, and the way that it just like holds true even to this day, and can be applied, and really should forever be applied, is, I think, just one of the many kind of remarkable things about his time here and the impact he had on our country. So we're going to take some time today to really dive deep into that, because I think it's important and it's impactful, and I love any really opportunity to kind of focus in on the growth of our guys. Even outside of the court, I think is critical.
That's a wonderful thing to do. I'm sure the guys are going to connect with that.
And Tim, I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. Like, I still today, and it's been 40 years since I played.
Yeah.
And the things that I remember about my coaches, and I still have contact with all of them today from Ohio State, most of them I should say, it's not about the X's and O's. I talk about the little things that they helped me in life about, like after I graduated, some of the encouraging things they did. So that's just another dynamic of the responsibilities of a head coach, is to impact those kids outside of basketball.
Well, the basketball is only for... I mean, here at Ohio State, it's 4 years, right? So, well, whether you're going to play professionally, but the sport is temporary, right? Yeah. The things that you can learn from it should last you the rest of your life. Well, we know this is going to be a difficult place to play tomorrow. And I go back to the Union Home Mortgage inbox, something that could come into play when you're playing in a raucous environment. And Mackey Arena is one of the most. How much do nerves come into play in the last-second possessions when the game is on the line, from Mike and Finley?
Yeah, I think that's the tricky part about practice, right, is you can simulate specific situations. You can, simulate, right, like execution, all of those things. What you really can't simulate is the game pressure. And, I think everybody handles that differently. That's why we talk about all the time, like we don't play not to lose in this program. We play to win. We want to be aggressive. We want to go win the game. We don't want to wait to kind of like see what happens, and it takes time to kind of build that and grow that mentality in everybody. Some people, have it more than others when they get here, but that's what we're working towards. But it's, you can put running on the line after a situation in practice. Like, there's things you try to do, right, to simulate some pressure, but there's nothing like, that game pressure when you got to step up and make a free throw in front of thousands of people, and there's a win or loss, essentially on the line, or you got to hit a big time shot, or you got to get that defensive stop. So we practice situations every day, end of game situations and things, but there really is. I don't know that running a 22 quite simulates, Ron, the pressure that you feel in the game. But I think, listen, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to have an opportunity to be in those conditions, and we want guys who embrace that. And I think our guys are. I think they are. I think they're embracing it. But yeah, it's human nature to certainly feel something in those moments.
When you look at this question about Mackey Arena. And, Coach Izzo was the one that's been there the longest, right? And I remember the epic games between when Thad Matta was here and Coach Izzo. That game always kind of dictated who would potentially win the Big Ten title. So you got to give Coach Izzo and Michigan State their dues. But what Coach Painter has done over there, this is his 20th year, 19th year as a head coach.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah, but he gets the bigs. Seems like every year he's got somebody on that team 7 foot or taller that can play.
And he had one this year, and he got lost for the season.
Yeah, and then you have the defense they play, and then their home court advantage. They pack in that 14-5. That's a tough place to go get wins. When you come out of there with a W, you know you've earned it.
Yeah, what Coach Painter's done there is really been special, and I think it's, the remarkable thing too is really he's coming off the peak of his time there, and it wasn't always right. It wasn't always great.
There's some tough moments.
So he's overcome, and that's why I think you admire so much about him and his program. He's overcome some adversity to get that program to where it's been, these last few years. But the environment there is incredible. There's no question. It's unique, right? The way it's built, the acoustics in there, and their fans are super passionate.
It's interesting. I remember one of the things I do is when I do my research, I listen to coaches pre and post game comments after wins and losses, because I learn a lot about how their teams and so forth. I never forget he had a couple of bad years, and he kind of said, I know what kind of guy I'm going to recruit moving forward to play for Purdue.
Yep.
And I never forget that when he made that comment, and then I look fast forward to today, I know what he was talking about.
Yeah, when you look at the way, so much of college basketball, and even more so now because it's almost a year-to-year thing, is right roster building. And what he's been able to do, and I think, to your point, what he's been able to do is he's been able to not make it year to year, essentially. Like he's had a run here with great retention. And I think it speaks to certainly what he's been able to build over the course of his career. But I agree with what he said. I like listening to his press conferences. I think he tells it like it is, and he's got great conviction behind some things, and it's been, that's the type of stuff we're building towards here.
We thank Stan in Columbus, who also asked that question about Mackey Arena and the environment. That was from the Union Home Mortgage inbox. And while we're talking about Matt Painter, who are some other coaches, either current or ones that are done, knowing that your father was a coach? I'm sure he's a person that you lean on, but some of the coaches that you look up to, maybe you know them or maybe you don't even know them, but you still look up to those guys.
Yeah, well, certainly my dad's been impactful, and my dad's not the guy that I go to if I need extra love. It's a tough kind of love, and and honestly, I love that because I'm wired that way. And
Dad's right.
I got to visit with him. He was here for the Indiana game. Got to visit with him a little bit right after, and it was really helpful. Homer Drew's a guy that I've leaned on a ton throughout the course of my career. Hall of Fame coach. Really the Drew family, Scott and Bryce Drew. I think Scott Drew's been really, really helpful to me. And Jay Wright's a guy that I've talked to a few times and kind of asked him about some questions off of, and anytime he's covering one of our games or something, he takes time to spend one-on-one with me, and that's been great. So I think there's Thad Mata's a guy as well who I can pick up the phone and call, and and who's been in this specific seat. So and then you look from afar. I think guys like Matt Painter and really in our league, Tom Izzo, some of the guys who have had such great runs in Big Ten play. So I'm always trying to learn and take things from people like that so we can apply them to what we're doing.
Absolutely. The Roosters Foundation helps raise over $1 million each year for local charities and organizations. And as the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes, the Roosters Foundation is donating $25 for every foul shot the Buckeyes make at home this season to BAM Beyond Ability Matters. BAM provides kids and young adults with neurological disabilities the opportunity to live their best lives. Much, much more of the program coming up as our show presented by Roosters continues on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
where more than 1,700 scientists are working on new treatments and new hope for every form of cancer.
You're making the choice to have the most advanced treatments, many of which were developed right here.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Union Home Mortgage knows Buckeye fans never leave Ohio State behind. We've helped millions of first-time home buyers get into their dream home through our 1% down payment program. Put as little as 1% down, and UHM tosses in up to 2% on the house. Learn more at UHM.com or call 877-846-4968. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,000 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com. For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations, in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
When you share your food, you share your heart. So what's on your table this holiday season? Save on your festive feast at Kroger with delicious deals on all the holiday classics. Or wow the crowd with something new, like a quinoa stuffed butternut squash. It's sure to add a pop of color to your spread. How about a sweet potato casserole with a crunchy oat streusel topping, made with care for the sweet tooth and the savory tooth? With Kroger, fill your table with love and watch as your guests' hearts get as full as their bellies. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. Your home for Buckeye basketball. This is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to the Jake Diebler Show. I'm Timmy Hall in for Paul Keels, today joined by Ron Stokes. Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 2229. Perfect time to go back to that Union Home Mortgage inbox. We got one more here, Ron. Without getting into great details, what are the post-game conversations in the locker room like after a tough couple of losses like you've just had? Is it yelling, encouragement, teachable moments? That's from Brad in Upper Sandusky.
I wonder if I know Brad in Upper Sandusky. I do know a couple Brads in Upper Sandusky, but, listen, those conversations are, I would say, truthful. And, I think it's important after games, there's certainly an emotional element involved, and sometimes that results in a higher temperature in the room. But I also think, you can't fully, really go into all the great details until you get a chance to go back and watch and really see and reflect. And, I think there's a balance of, because we are showing some signs of improvement and growth, it's important to recognize that, but it's also important to recognize that, we aren't getting the results we want. And so I think those moments are very truthful. There's an emotional element to that, certainly. But, I try to acknowledge the positive and the areas of growth because I think both are critical for us right now.
You know, you made a comment about sometimes it takes looking at the film, because I know as an announcer, when I'm calling a game and I'll think I saw something, and then when I go back and rewatch the game, I say, wow, that's the reason why something happened. So as a coach, I'm sure you got to make sure that, you know, you're speaking from a perspective of what really happened versus what you thought might have happened. So how do you just make sure you don't do that? I know that there's a time frame before the coaches can go in and talk to the players, kind of like decompressing a little bit.
Yeah.
Then you can come in and talk to them so you can address them appropriately.
Well, I think you never want to, you know, maybe touch on a specific play unless you're sure, right, of what you saw. Right?
Yeah.
So I think
might have missed a foul call or something that
I think
wasn't
that's
contact.
Important, you know, so it's if I'm not sure of and can't specifically remember, I won't touch on maybe a specific play. But I do think, you know, you gotta. There's value in some of the raw emotion you feel after a game, and it's okay to express some of that within reason. But, you know, for me, it just like we coach in truth here, and it's important to I think be truthful and honest, and accountability is important to us. But when you do that, I think you also have to acknowledge growth and things that go well, because ultimately you're fighting for more of those things, right? You're fighting to do them more consistently. That's where we are right now. We're doing enough to be right there. Now we need to do it more for another possession or 2 or 3, or, you know, we get to 5 more possessions like that. Well, now it's really different. So, you know, getting guys to understand, and I think you're constantly fighting for perspective. You know, perspective's important, specifically after game. But so I think, yeah, there's a lot to think about post game. Sometimes, like I said, the temperature in the locker room is higher than others.
Yeah.
You know, but
but
it's all coming from a place of truth and growth.
Jake, question about fouls, and I know that had been a point of emphasis for you this season to try to get your team playing better defense without fouling. The number of fouls I thought was fine when you go back to the Indiana game. I think 18 called in the basketball game. That's a relatively, to me at least, low. I don't know if that's that way to you guys as coaches, but it was maybe the type of fouls they were that put Indiana at the free throw line, maybe a little bit more than what you guys were able to get to the free throw line. Do you ever have conversations about fouls that you're acceptable taking, and then the ones that you do not want to see your team take?
Yeah, we do. I think I don't mind aggressive, you know, physical fouls, even sometimes away from the basket, because we're putting pressure on the ball, or we're playing with urgency. Mm-hmm. You know, where I've been on some guys, and we've just quite honestly held some guys accountable for is, you know, desperation fouls, I guess you could say. Like a guy gets an angle, and instead of, you know, making him earn it, you just kind of bail him out, and undisciplined fouls. You know, I think with poor technique, and you know, now listen, if it would have been something we haven't worked on, that's on me. I can't really get mad at a guy for that. But the things that we're working on, technique around the rim and technique on the ball, if you're making some of those continuous mistakes, that is frustrating, and you will be held accountable for that. Those are the undisciplined fouls, and kind of those are the things we got to change, because we're having, you know, really. It's an imperfect game, but we were having 2 or 3 too many of those, you know, a game, and it's resulting in points. Or, you know, a guy gets an and one. Well, if you're there fouling, don't let him get an and one. You know, there's little things like that. But I don't mind. You know, I've even told some of our perimeter players we need to pressure the ball more at the point of attack and ball screens. We need to be more physical. And if a ref calls it, which, you know, teams are doing it to us, so I don't think we'll get it called. Like it's kind of life in the Big Ten. You know, we need to take advantage of that too.
Coach, when you look at that very subject about fouling, I look at a guy like Aaron Bradshaw that clearly, as he continues to grow and want to be a great player, he's got to get more girth down there. That's just getting in the weight room, and the off season getting bigger. But what can he do, or how do you teach him or coaching when he's in there and he's at a size disadvantage to avoid those fouls that he's being called for?
Yeah, I think he's got to use his athleticism and speed to his advantage better inside. And, you know, if he's gonna try to get into a wrestling match, you know, that's not to his advantage. And really, and even the last couple games, it was an issue against Wisconsin as well. We fouled, really the post player before he even caught the ball, and that's where we have to got to be more technically sound and disciplined. I think you're seeing, it's young players, right, making those mistakes, and some of that comes with experience. But yeah, and it might not matter in that possession because all they do is take it out of bounds. But now they're shooting free throws later in the half, earlier than they should be, because we have bad technique wrapping around. So we're working on guys using their feet more, Ron, in the guarding the post.
Yeah, and then the other complicated thing with that, you're forced to maybe play guys with 3 fouls that you wouldn't normally play in the first half, or someone with 2 who has to play 6 or 7 minutes to pick up their 3rd foul in the first half. So that's what those little fouls do to you as well.
It all adds up to impacting the game, certainly.
The Foundation is operating a 50-50 raffle at each Ohio State home men's basketball game this season, with proceeds supporting community-based NIL opportunities and the Foundation charities. For more information on how you can participate, visit the Foundation social media channels. We'll have more coming up as our show presented by Roosters continues on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Buckeye Nation, Paul Keels here for my other favorite nation, Window Nation. If you're a fan of scoring, you're going to love this. Window Nation is going nuts with an incredible offer just for you. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free plus 0 down and 0 payments with 0 interest for 2 years. And if you order a full house of windows, you'll be part of a full house at the Shoe with tickets to a Buckeye game. Call Window Nation today at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. Tell them Paul sent you for the Buckeyes Full House Special.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage knows Buckeye fans never leave Ohio State behind. We've helped millions of first-time home buyers get into their dream home through our 1% down payment program. Put as little as 1% down, and UHM tosses in up to 2% on the house. Learn more at UHM.com or call 877-846-4968. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,000 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
It's Toyota truck and all-wheel drive season with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, including all-wheel drive versions of the best-selling Corolla. Now through February 3rd, get low-rate financing on a Corolla or lease a gas-powered 25 Corolla LE for $229 a month for 39 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't miss a minute of the Ohio State football postseason presented by CareSource, Kroger, and State Farm. Celebrate the culmination of the 2024 season with all of Buckeye Nation and follow along on the official athletic site. From the opening postseason kickoff to the final whistle in Atlanta, we have you covered. It's the 2024 Ohio State football postseason presented by CareSource, Kroger, and State Farm. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/postseason central now for more information. Go Bucks!
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back to the Jake Diebler Show. I'm Timmy Hall filling in for Paul Keels today alongside the former captain and color commentator Ron Stokes. Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Joint partners American Electric Power, Kroger, Donato's, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus, and supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care. Basketball's a long season. We were just talking in the break how the Ohio State football team has got to feel the brunt of this long season with a college football playoff expanding. They're to the very end of it. Big game tonight. I know maybe you guys adjusted your flight time a little bit earlier to get out to West Lafayette. How does that go when you're in a hotel, not in your normal setup, when you're trying to watch a big game like this, but also stay focused on Purdue for tomorrow?
Yeah, well, I think we'll certainly find a way to be able to watch some of this game, but we got some things we got to do, some film we got to cover at the hotel, some walkthroughs at the hotel that we'll do, and we'll do some of that maybe during halftime. But I think, listen, I'm super excited for Coach Day and his staff and that team, man. What a run it's been, and can't wait to see him finish the job tonight.
So, Coach, when you look at their roster, I know when I was in school, there was some football players that were pretty good basketball players. Anyone that you know that?
I'm glad you brought that up, Ron.
That are pretty good at basketball. Coach?
Yeah. Well, I think Jack Sawyer, Sonny Styles, JT. Those are the three guys that I'm probably most familiar with their basketball game. Mm-hmm. Saw a couple of those guys play on the EYBL, and Sonny and JT, and I remember, communicating with I recruited Sonny and JT early on, right? Both of them made the right decision. I just want to make sure we're all on the same
Jack
page
not going to Stony Brook to play with Coach Jeff Bowles.
I think he made a great decision as well. But it's interesting, Ron, because I don't know, maybe I've just looked at it from a different perspective because I saw those guys all play basketball. But what you see on the basketball court, toughness, the just physicality, you see it obviously now on the football field. So I'm so happy for those guys and how they've been able to really go through this season, and now they're knocking on the door of finishing the job.
Who are some of the last great two-sport stars to actually do it at a high major? Well, we know Ricky Dudley, but even beyond Ohio State, because this is just something that it's like Travis Hunter playing both sides at high major, college football. You just don't see a basketball player and a football player. Julius Peppers for North Carolina was one for me that I still can remember. I remember him. Actually played on the team and was an impactful player.
There was
Andre Ward. Yes.
Andre Rison at Michigan State. He played, I think it was Michigan State. Yeah, he played. Am I right? Yeah, Michigan State. He played basketball.
Andre Rison, really?
Yeah, look that up. I think it was Michigan State. It was a Big Ten school.
He did, yes. He played at Michigan State. He was from Flint.
Yeah, he played little guard, but he was obviously a pretty good wide receiver.
Is it just too specialized? We can't get that back? Like, is that something we're not really going to see going forward?
I mean, I would imagine just the time commitment, has changed. It's not that guys before didn't work extremely hard or commit a lot of time. I just think it's different now. And, you almost, the margins are so small that you just got to focus so specifically, on sports, especially when you get to college and you're now, your trajectory may be professionally. I think it's just too specialized.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, because Ohio State football is pretty good, by the time these guys are ready to play,
you're tired.
They're at the end of January.
We don't. There's not. Yeah, our football seasons end usually towards the very, very end of the season. So there's not a huge window to get into basketball shape and finish some games.
North Carolina football finished. Back then, Julius Peppers like, fine, Amen. I'm ready to play.
Exactly.
It's like mid-November here. Right. I can play some basketball. Jake Diebler, thanks so much for the time as always.
Yeah, thanks guys. Good luck to the football team tonight, Coach Day. Good luck, and we'll be supporting you from West Lafayette, getting ready for Purdue tomorrow.
Ron Stokes, good to see you as always.
All right, Timmy.
Guys, thanks for listening to today's show, presented by Roosters and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union Ohio. Join us tomorrow night as Ohio State is at Purdue. Coverage begins at 6:45. For Ryan Baker, Ron Stokes, and Coach Jake Diebler, I'm Timmy Hall. In for Paul Keels. Thanks for listening. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Finding the right employee for your company is tough. One wrong hire can be a major setback. You're not alone if you face this. A recent survey by Robert Half shows nearly half of hiring managers readily admit to making a bad hire. Luckily, there's a solution. With Robert Half's specialized recruiter's experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can have the right skilled professional in place quickly. We understand what it takes to build winning teams because at Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
It's playoff time, and you can take full advantage by winning some cash playing daily fantasy football on Sleeper Picks. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. And now, Sleeper has a special offer. New users just have to play $5 to get $55 in free entries. Download the Sleeper app today and use code SCORE and get $55 in free entries when you play $5. That's code SCORE. Must be at least 18 years old. Promo code, location, and other restrictions apply. Minimum deposit, $25. See terms of use for details. Please play responsibly. Call 1-800-426-2537 for help.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.